Croeso and welcome to another Britain's Hidden History with me, Ross. And today we're talking about St Illtyd, one of the most famous, apart from Dewi or David, the most famous saint in Wales, and yet he's treated with absolute scorn and derision. My local cricket team is why I got this hat on. This is my team. It's called Llantwit Vardra. Llan Illtyd gets translated to Llantwit. And if you go on there, Wikipedia does quite a good job actually. You'll see the various spellings of the name, and more famous than where I live is Llantwit Fawr, Llantwit Major, where he's supposed to have founded the first learning centre in Europe. It actually mentions that here. You can read all about it. Very important, hugely important. We've also got the Arthurian connections, which we discuss quite a lot on this channel. We've got the life of St Illtyd. There's other lives of the saints he appears in. And he's supposed to be part of the famous triumvirate. Where has it gone? Here it is, with CADW and Peredur. And he's tied in with the Holy Grail and the body of Arthur. And you'll find, and the research here does mention it on Wiki as well, he's the cousin of Arthur. And he's the one who seems to have conducted the funeral and stuff. So he's very, very important, okay? Now then, if you look at this part, cult and veneration, St Illtyd's feast day is 6th November. Now, according to legend, Illtyd was buried west of the town of Brecon. In the church, I love the way it's a legend. I mean, the church is called St Illtyd, Church of Illtyd. It's sometimes called Capel Illtyd, which was demolished in the 1990s. That's on the last video. You can have a look at that. Very strange churchyard. And since then, I found out more about it, and there's actually earthworks and things. So we're going back there. But anyway, it's on a tract of moorland known as Mynydd Illtud, which I've walked up and filmed, and we'll be showing that very soon, hopefully tomorrow. Near this church, there is a megalithic monument called Bedd Goel Illtyd, or the grave of St Illtyd's Eve. Until comparatively recently, very recently, Illtyd was honoured by the practice of watching, keeping vigil at this stone before his festival. Right, so you got this really, really famous stone. Apart from St David, he's the most famous saint in Wales. You'd think there'd be a lot of fuss and a sign, and as usual, nothing at all. In fact, we had to use some rather unusual methods just to find it. So first thing, going to the Brecon National Park's visitor centre, which is excellent and is very nearby and a good starting point. I bumped into someone called Howard, who's just working there in the grounds of the centre, and I had a chat with him, and he had an interesting story to tell and give us some directions, which you'll see, and then the other methods we used to find the actual burial site. So here we go. Yeah, what I'm really looking for is a burial place of Illtyd. So where do you think that might be?
When I was a kid, it was always rumoured that when you go from the church, you go up to the top road, and then you turn right to come back over, and about 200 yards down on the right, or 100 yards down on the right after you turn right, there's a big flat stone on the ground, and we were always told that was St Illtyd's grave, but I've got my doubts about that.
Yeah? Any reason why you doubt it, or you just think?
I don't know. It's just one of those things.
One of those stories, yeah. You know, where you're going to see the confirmation, isn't it?
But that's basically it.
Oh, thank you.
So that's a little farm with a wonderfully helpful farmer who's just absolutely great. He's giving us directions down here. When you see the pond on the right, it'll be down near there, the famous Illtyd stone. Not as seen as the guidebooks, unfortunately. That's a beautiful path. I've learned an experience if a farmer tells you it's a short walk, that can mean absolutely anything. The most flexible measuring unit in the world is the farmer's mile. A couple of miles could take you half a day. But we're looking for a pond on the right, and then between the pond and something, we'll find it. I don't know if that's a pond or just a flooded bit. Ah, no! There's a couple of stones here. Could ask the farmer to guide us in, I think. Don't really know what I'm looking for. It's part of the problem. Would you call that a pond? Is this a flooded area? There's a road right next to it. That'd have been easier, wouldn't it? I was all excited then, thinking there was some sort of monument or a sign for Illtyd. Let's read about the ancient history of Britain, shall we? Mainline Pipelines Limited. 16-inch diameter, 111 kilometres. Thanks a lot. The pipeline gets a memorial, but probably the most famous saint in Welsh history. And there's the very unimpressive looking burial mound. Right, well, we've done some dowsing. Gavin's particularly in tune with this. We're finding another burial here. You think the stone's related to the burial, or what do you reckon, Gav?
Someone's buried there, and there.
So this actually looks like a little burial area rather than the burial site of one person. Well, yeah, that's why we call it hidden history, isn't it? Because it's still there, but you've got to find it. This is the problem. And I know people are sceptical about this, but we've done this on loads and loads and loads and loads of places now. And after a while, it's very hard to dispute it. You find it extremely useful, because I wasn't even sure where this mound was, but there we are. Do various other methods. Here it is. And curiously, it's not really east-west pointing. Very interesting site, which is slowly disappearing completely, because it's supposed to be a large stone here, but I don't know if it's there's an outline here. Maybe it's buried under this lot. Well, this is the spot. This is it.
Now, the work of Wilson and Blackett shows that the royals, the British royals, were all married into the Holy Family and the Holy Blood, which is, you know, probably what the Grail is all about. So Illtyd would have been of Holy Blood, a descendant of the family of Jesus, as would the other Welsh royals.
There it goes. So that's if related to the Christ bloodline.
Yeah. Crossover. If this is not related to the Christ bloodline.
There you go, folks. it's
Crossover, if this is related, this burial is related to the Christ bloodline.
There it goes. Now, after a while, you start to realise it's very hard to argue with this, isn't it? And don't ask me to explain it, or any of us to explain it. But it works. Or at least it seems to. It is remarkable how many of these ancient burials have to have water nearby. And it's, this could go all the way back to the Egyptian connections, and you wonder why we're studying these ancient religions and looking at Egypt and Babylon and things like that. Well, the same customs and practices seem to be brought back to Wales somehow, and to Britain. So we have to know what we're talking about to make the comparisons, don't we? So it's, and as I always say, they always have a tomb with a view, these people. What a view.
The official burial site is there, as you can see, there's not an awful lot here. No mark, no commemoration, nothing really. In the background you see the beacons there, there's a couple of little mounds and dots and things. It's all very interesting, very spiritual. I don't know this area as well. It's not even stone, is it? Maybe there's a stone under there. It'd be good to do a little bit of research into it. And of course we've got the water nearby where we got the pond. I've used Google Maps, I'm using Google Earth here. If you type in Mynydd Illtud Brecon and search for it, of course the Mynydd Illtud is, you know, that's a tourist walk. I'm going to put that up next video. And actually, I haven't added this. This is on Google Earth, Mynydd Illtud Menia. So it looks like the dowsing was spot on, as was the directions from Howard and the farmer. So there's the visitor centre. I think we actually parked up here and followed this path. Might have been this one. Anyway, there's the long way, or there's another road here. I don't know how you get to that road. Find yourself there. And if you look, I think that's the pond. And it looks like the dowsing is spot on. It's difficult to tell exactly from this, but there you go. What do you think? It should be a monument of national importance, and the stone should be, I don't know, shown off, surely. Don't you think so? This really is hidden history, isn't it? Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Just a quick plea for help, because this is a full-time job keeping this going, and we don't get any funding or help, and the cost of travelling all the sites, it does add up. So what we have, go to cymroglyphics.com, please, and have a look. You can see here, there's lots of books. So you can, I don't like asking for money. you can buy a book, buy yourself a book. They're brilliant. The works of Wilson and Blackett. People like Robert Shaw showing how ancient Egyptian philosophies coming all the way through the city of London and the power struggle that's gone on there. Got Origins of the Zodiac by Hugh Evans. Wonderful book about how you can see the Zodiac mapped out in Gwynedd. Maybe buy it for a friend as a present, you know, looking for ideas. You could just make a donation. That's always great. First chapter, King Arthur Conspiracy, is a free download. There'll be other downloads, so coming back and checking this. Treat yourself to something here. You can get a star map. You got old maps of Glamorgan, South Wales. Family trees, which is being added to with some bigger ones. The Ghost Boy board game is really good. We put that together ourselves. Lots of maps. Oh yeah, music CDs of Baron Blackett. DVD of Alan Wilson in his prime in action. So there's things you can get there. And also go to the merchandise shop. Give it a go. If you click there and click there. There we go. Saving Britain's past. That's what we're trying to do. Right? All our past. And there's t-shirts and there's mugs. Pillows and Druidic stuff. Hoodie. I'm going to get one of those I think next winter. But Universal Druid's Prayer. Want to have that one on a mug or something. Anyway, lots of things. The first thing you could do, which doesn't cost anything at all, is like and share this video. At the moment, we've got a couple of thousand people watching videos, which is great. But we need to get to hundreds of thousands, and everyone can help with that. That doesn't cost anything. So until the next time, very best wishes, Hello.